All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the No Name College Football Podcast. This is technically episode 8, but the last 2 weeks we did live streams, so episode 10, whatever you want to call it. But either way, it's week 12 college football. Second to last week of the regular season. So big week. A lot of things get decided this week. I was just looking at it earlier. Currently, there is 1, 2, 3. There's 5 games being played this week of 5-5 teams. So the winner will be bowl eligible. And on top of that, there is 13 more teams playing for bowl eligibility in other games. But we got a lot of games to get into. So let's just talk about last week real quick. Nothing crazy happening in the week, really. We had picked UNLV Wyoming. But we'll get to all that later. First off, Clemson rolling right now, I guess. Big win over Georgia Tech. Two of their touchdowns were trash time with our backups in. So really, we really won like 35-7. App, big win over Georgia State. Gets bowl eligible, stays in the Sun Belt Conference title running. And then getting into the ranked games, Ohio State just pushes over Michigan State like they should. And then, Jacob, you're at this game.
Crazy atmosphere, obviously. I contributed. And Georgia was just the better team. Ole Miss hung around for about a quarter, but just didn't have the defense to slow Georgia's offense down. Georgia's seeming to get healthy and hit their stride at the right time, especially with Brock Bowers coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Georgia looked great. And obviously these are the rankings from last week. We'll get to the rankings that were revealed last night. We didn't do a live show because it was at 9:00 instead of 7. But yeah, Georgia, now number 1 team in the country, looked like the clear number 1 team in the country. And there was a debate that they had before now. Michigan, Penn State. This is an interesting game. As you see over here on the right side right here, Drew Aller was the leading passer in this game with 70 yards.
I'm just
And
there we go. Which access to wearable training optimization tech.
Become an agent of
There we go. Sorry. But Michigan just, I don't really know how to feel about Michigan. I really don't know how to feel about either one of these two teams. Michigan just looks like I don't even know. I don't even know how to explain it. Penn State's terrible on offense, at least.
Yeah.
But their defense is great. But Michigan is an interesting team. I really don't know where they stand, in my opinion.
I just can't tell if the Big Ten is full of good defenses or bad offenses. Because it feels like nobody in the Big Ten can score a bunch of points consistently. Even Michigan, who has, against these bad teams, plays against Penn State and puts up 24. But the interesting stat about this game is the 32 straight runs in the second half that Michigan had, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was funny for sure. Florida State with a win over Miami. I'm not gonna say it was a big win. Like, honestly, Miami had their backup quarterback in, and he played absolutely terrible. And Florida State still barely won this football game. Miami actually was driving down the field before throwing an interception to try to tie this game up. Florida State, I haven't been, I've said it multiple times this year, I still haven't bought into Florida State. I don't really know what they're selling to be ranked over Washington still. There's a stat that ESPN popped up on their broadcast last night when doing these rankings that I want to read real quick. Strength of record, Washington is higher. They're second in the country while Florida State is third. Strength of schedule, Washington's is higher, 43rd to Florida State's 55th. And then Washington's key wins are over currently ranked 6th Oregon and 17th Arizona on the road, while Florida State's key wins are listed as in a neutral site, if I'm correct, against number 15 LSU, which I know they did thrash them, and versus a now unranked Duke. I know Duke was a better football team, I think, at the time, but I just think that Washington should definitely be ranked over Florida State, and I'm not buying into them just yet. Then speaking of Washington, they get a win over Utah. This game in the first half looked like it was going to be an absolute shootout.
Wait, they take
Bro,
this
I hate
break.
ESPN, bro. Absolute shootout, but then it slowed up big in the second half. Washington just, I think they're kind of proving that their offense can potentially compete with any defense in the country because I don't think Utah's defense is that bad. I just think the
No.
question is on the other side of the ball for Washington. I'm not sure what their defense is going to look like if they go up against another high-powered offense. I mean, we saw they gave up 42 points, I think it was, to Southern Cal, and which Southern Cal's really, really high-powered offense. But 33 points to Oregon, I think, right? It was 36-33. So, I mean, Washington I think, is a good football team. I think their offense can compete with any team in the country.
I just think this was a good win for Washington. Utah's a team with a lot of pedigree, been there before, play good defense, very well coached. And Washington's a team that hasn't been in this spot before. So for them to come out and get a big win is crucial for their playoff hopes for sure.
I agree. And big one coming up for them this week, too. Oregon gets a win over Southern Cal. They kind of dominated that game. Just a slight bit. Bo Nix had over 400 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Started the game 2 for 2, like 177 or something like that, and 2 touchdowns. Texas squeezes one out over TCU. TCU with a huge fourth quarter to come back in this game. Unfortunately for Texas, and prayers up for him, Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL in this game, so they are now out, potentially one of their most versatile playmakers on their whole entire team. So that really sucks for Texas. It's going to be a big blow for them. Alabama dominates Kentucky. Alabama's rolling right now, honestly.
Yeah, they are.
Um,
Jalen Milrose just so much improved. It feels like they're looking really hitting their stride, really look comfortable out there.
I agree. Definitely on the course for a big matchup with Georgia in the SEC championship as of right now. They just got to get through these last 2. Oregon State dominates Stanford. I mean, I didn't watch this game, but man, 62-17 is crazy. You want to talk about this one? I know you didn't get to watch a lot of football.
Yeah, I saw enough of this one though. Missouri just thrashes Tennessee. This game was not even close. I think Schrader had over 300 yards. Yeah, I mean, well over 300 yards of offense just by one guy. Tennessee, I mean, I don't want to say that they look like they've given up, but they did not look good in this game. They didn't look prepared in this game. And that's not a good way to look when you've got a team like Georgia on the schedule next week.
Yeah, I agree. I think I had kind of mentioned it last week, and I might mention it again later in the show. But I think that there was a chance that Tennessee was looking ahead to their matchup this week with Georgia. And I think I said this exact thing last week. I might not have, but I know I was at least thinking it is sometimes these teams like Tennessee, when you have a big game like Georgia the week after that, is they go out here on the road and they look ahead and they just get absolutely thrashed. And that's what happened. Now I'm not going to sit here and say that Missouri isn't the better team because they are, but I think Tennessee was definitely looking ahead, and I think it, played into them, unfortunately, getting beat by almost 30 points. And yeah, Cody Schrader, insane game. I don't even know what happened here at all. I mean, Oklahoma State got ran out of the state of Florida by UCF by halftime too. I mean, they were getting absolutely dominated. UCF had a lot of big plays, like a ton of big plays. You see the running back had 206 yards from 3 touchdowns. The leading receiver had 4 receptions for 112 yards. They had, I think, 2 or 3 50-plus yard touchdowns. Insane game for UCF, who's now 5-5, looking at getting a bowl game. Texas Tech out of Kansas on the road, too. On the road.
Well, Kansas is now down to their 3rd string quarterback. At least they were in this game.
Yeah. Sucks for Kansas, man. I really think they could be sitting at 9-1 with Jalen Daniels still. West Virginia got destroyed by Oklahoma. LSU kind of dominated Florida. Florida was in it though for the most part. Jaden Daniels, I mean, what an absolute crazy game for him. Over 600 yards and he has 5 touchdowns. Insane. Arizona walk-off field goal over Colorado. Iowa, the under hit again. 22-0.
Iowa's 8-2.
Yeah, 8-2. Congrats to Iowa. It's like the Steelers pretty much. And then Tulane, another close one with a team with a losing record. I'm starting to get slightly worried about Tulane over here being the best Group of 5 team. Because if you're struggling against Tulsa, I think they were struggling against ECU last week or 2 weeks ago, and I think there was another game that they were struggling with somebody. What are you gonna do when you got to go up and see these 5 stars from a team like Alabama, who's probably gonna have a New Year's Six game, or someone like that? Last year they played Southern Cal. What are you gonna do then?
I mean, they got to get there first. I mean, there's a lot of teams in the American Conference like SMU, like Memphis, that really could come in there and do some damage to them. So they might not even get there.
I agree for sure. And I'm not going to get into it, but I do think there should be a different team as the highest ranked Group of 5 team. But yeah, North Carolina, what is happening to y'all? Barely escaped a backup quarterback, Duke. I think he's like a true freshman too. I know it's a rivalry game, but you're at home and you're playing a backup true freshman quarterback. Come on, man. You should easily win that football game. You shouldn't have to go to double overtime. Duke, shout out Duke, though. They had a little bit of a comeback there. North Carolina comes down and drives and kicks a field goal to send it into overtime and gets a win. Amarion Hampton is an absolute monster. 170 yards on 31 carries and a touchdown. Drake May, decent game. I know you're going to say 342 and a touchdown. How's that decent? He was like 28 for 42 or something like that. He didn't have a good completion percentage. And the pick that he threw was god awful, but I don't understand what's going on with North Carolina. And then Kansas State demolishes Baylor. That's all for the ranked games. Illinois, Indiana was a good game. Maryland, Nebraska was a good game. We had a bunch of just like random matchups that I'm not really gonna get into, I don't think. Is there any? Yeah. Air Force got destroyed by Hawaii. Two good record Group of 5 teams got destroyed by terrible teams. Iowa State destroys BYU. But yeah, real quick, we'll go over it because this is usually where we always go over it at our Heisman rankings right now. Going into week 12. A lot of guys are pretty much out of the race at this point I guess kind of, I don't really know. But Jacob, what do you have in your Heisman rankings right now?
I honestly think that it's a 4 to 5 horse race for the Heisman. I still have Penix 1, but I think it's Penix 1, Daniels 2, and Bo Nix 3. If I had to bet one of those 3 is going to win it, I've got Carson Beck 4, Marvin Harrison Jr. 5.
Yeah. So we have the same 5 people. Marvin Harrison Jr. 5. I have Bo Nix at 4. I have Carson Beck at 3, and I actually have Jaden Daniels at 1. I really am here to push that agenda. I just think it sucks that it's such a team success award along with a personal success award. Because I don't think there's any doubt in my mind right now that if you ask me who the best player in college football has been right now, it's Jaden Daniels. I mean, he is single-handedly. If Jaden Daniels wasn't at LSU, they are probably 3-7 instead of 7-3 right now, or whatever their record is. But yeah, since we're also talking about last week Jacob did get another win in the pick'ems with 7.5 points to my 5.5. He is now 3-5. So he's still in it, ever so slightly, still in it, but he is 4.5 points behind me. So yeah, let's talk about this week. Well, my bad, I forgot rankings. Here are the rankings that were revealed last night. No new teams have came in and no one dropped out. Kansas is down to 25, Tulane 24, Oklahoma State 23, Utah 22, Kansas State 21, North Carolina 20, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Arizona, Iowa, LSU 19 through 15, Oklahoma up to 14, Ole Miss down to 13, Penn State down to 12. Oregon State, to my surprise, honestly, not in the top 10. While Louisville, congrats to them, does enter the top 10 at number 10. The only thing right now that I could really say that I would switch out of this is this Missouri Oregon State. I would flip flop these two, solely based off the fact that, well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't really care that much. Neither of these teams are getting to the point. Well, I'll talk about Oregon State later. Alabama's still at 8, Texas at 7, Oregon at 6, and as you see, none of the top 8 got changed except for Georgia hopping Ohio State to 1 and Ohio State falling down to 2. Realistically, Jacob, how many teams do you think have a shot at the college football playoff as of right now?
I think all 5 of the undefeateds. I think Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Louisville, maybe. And then after that, I don't really think anybody.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page. Obviously, these 5, barring absolute disaster, definitely have the best shots. However, we do know that one of these 2 teams is going to lose at least one game at some point. However, it's probably going to be their only loss. And then the other team is probably going to be the Big Ten champion, an undefeated Big Ten champion. Georgia right now, as we're looking at it, is more than likely going to be an undefeated SEC champion the way they're rolling. The only people I think standing in their way probably right now is this team right here.
What makes it interesting, though, is what if Bama were to beat Georgia? Then do they both get in?
I think so. I don't think there's any reason why it shouldn't be.
Unless I think if Florida State is sitting there at 12-1, then who gets in? Georgia or Florida State?
Georgia. 100%. 100%.
I don't know if we get in without a conference title in that scenario.
Okay, but you're saying Florida State's one loss is to Louisville, correct? In the ACC championship.
What if Florida State loses to Florida and then beats Louisville and wins?
Definitely Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia beat the team that Florida State lost to be fair.
Yeah, and I also think Georgia would get in because right now they're telling you that they think Georgia's better than Michigan or Ohio State, so they would get in over the other one-loss team. Now Georgia's got to beat Tennessee first.
I agree. I think out of the teams you said, I agree, but I think the one team, this is what I was just saying, Migo, I think there is a very outside shot that Oregon State could still possibly get in. Now, Oregon State is about to have to run an absolute gauntlet in that case. They play Washington this week. They play Oregon the next week. If they were to beat these 2 teams, they're going to be sitting at 10-2 in the Pac-12 championship, facing one of those 2 teams.
Washington.
Again, probably Washington, maybe Oregon. So I think if you beat the number 5 and 6 teams
twice
in a row,
yeah,
as a Pac-12 champion, and they're going to have some help, and that's the same thing with Louisville. Louisville's going to have a little bit of help somewhere. I think there's an argument for them to get in somewhere. I think there's an argument.
Well, I think there's an argument.
Missouri.
Yeah, I think if they were to win this week, they would at least jump up to 9, maybe 8. But I don't know. They would need Texas to lose. They would need Bama to lose. There's a world, but if they get in over the Big Ten team, because it is Oregon State.
It is. I agree, but I just think that there is like, if you were sitting in a room and like there was specific rooms that you could go to, I think there is a room for Oregon State's case if that was to happen. I think there is a room. Whereas I don't think there is a room for a case for Missouri.
I can get behind that.
I don't think there's a room for a case for Penn State or Ole Miss or Oklahoma. You know, these other 2 lost teams.
Well, Oklahoma, maybe.
Maybe Oklahoma. Maybe. All right. All right, cool. Week 12. Let's get into it. We already had some games played last night. Little Maction action. Loved it. Watched a little bit of this game. Good game. But let's start over here on Saturday. I'm gonna remind me to come back to these two because I like to go like within time frames. 12 o'clock time frame. First game I want to come to right here is this Michigan at Maryland. Michigan is minus 19. And stupidly enough, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna take Maryland to cover this. I am gonna take Michigan to win, but I'm gonna take Maryland to cover 19 points at home.
I'm thinking the same thing here. Michigan's got to go and play Ohio State next week, favored by a lot. A lot of distraction too in that Michigan program right now. So give me Maryland to cover, Michigan to win.
Yeah. See what I did there? No, I'm just okay, sorry. All right, Louisville at Miami. This is the weirdest spread I've ever seen in my life. Minus half a point. Let's just make it a straight up pick 'em. Is what I'm cool with. I just straight up pick 'em, no spread. This is one that I've been struggling with, and I don't really know. Miami's been playing better at home than on the post of the road. But I think Louisville has something in them right now. I think they have something that they want to fight for, which is an ACC title spot. They haven't locked it up yet, technically. So I think they're going to go in there. I think it might be close, but I think Louisville is going to win this football game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's going to be very close, maybe even a field goal type of game. But I think Louisville's better coached, and I think they win.
Sure. And then not last game in 12 o'clock time frame. One of the last games in 12 o'clock time frame. Rutgers at Penn State. Penn State minus 20.5.
I hate Penn State right now. Penn State is gonna win, but they're not gonna cover.
And I'm on the same boat. I also have Penn State winning with Rutgers covering. And then the last 12 o'clock time frame game I want to go to. Well, maybe it isn't 12 o'clock. Oh, yeah, it is. Here it is. Is SMU at Memphis. This game is interesting because SMU is currently at 6-0 in the American, while Memphis is at 5-1. Memphis with a win here could, well, no, not even could. Memphis with a win here will stay in the hunt for the American championship spot. However, with a loss, I'm pretty sure they are eliminated. I tried to run the numbers on that, but it's really hard right now.
Yeah, I think if SMU wins this, that it's clinched that it's them versus Tulane.
No, it's not. Tulane and UTSA play next week, not this upcoming week. They play the next week, and if UTSA beats Tulane, UTSA will go.
Okay, so but SMU can clinch a spot.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'll just look. I'm pretty sure though. I was looking at the other day. I think there's 3 undefeated teams, and then there's one loss, and the one loss is UTSA, Tulane both 6-0, SMU 6-0, Memphis 5-1. So if Memphis wins, I think that they would go as long as they win the next week.
Okay.
So it's almost, but there is a scenario that I was looking at it. If Memphis was to win this game, okay, they'd both be at 6-1. And then if Tulane was to lose to UTSA next week, UTSA and Tulane would play again the week after for the championship because Tulane beat Memphis. So they have a tiebreaker over them.
Okay.
Memphis would have the tiebreaker over SMU. So yeah, it's definitely, there's still a lot of options there to be had. But yeah, sorry, going on a tangent. SMU at Memphis, SMU minus 8.5. I've got Memphis with the upset.
I like SMU to win, and I like Memphis to cover. I think SMU is a really, really good team.
I agree, but I'm gonna give Memphis the home field advantage when their backs are technically against the wall right now. Okay, then we'll go to 2 o'clock time frame. College game day this week. Our Mountaineers at James Madison, which no hate for James Madison over here. I'm pretty sure it's reciprocated on your end. But James Madison still looking at that undefeated season right now, 10-0. JMU minus 9 at home.
I definitely like App to cover 9. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make the homer pick. I think App State ends the JMU undefeated season.
Yeah. This is one of the other ones I was struggling with to pick, but I feel like I can't go against the guys. You know what I mean? It's like me picking Clemson to lose, which to be fair, I did do that the other week, but give me App with the upset too. We're known for it. Why not do it again? 3:30 time frame. We'll go ahead and no, this one game is at 2:00. Actually, we're still in games at 2:30, I think. We'll come back to UNC Clemson. 2:30 ranked game, Utah at Arizona, Arizona -1. I'm gonna take Arizona to win. I'm gonna take Arizona to cover.
Really? Cover?
Yeah. No, crazy, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with Arizona also. I just think they're playing too good right now.
I think they are too. I think they're playing I just think they're playing really good. All right, and then coming back up here, we got the Tar Heels, number 20 in the nation now at Clemson. Clemson is -6.5 at home.
I got Clemson winning and covering here.
Really? Okay.
I've got Clemson by 2 scores.
Why'd you have to say that, dude?
I mean, I just don't think UNC's playing good enough right now. You got to go 2.
Every time you say somebody wins big, they never win big.
Huh?
Every time you say somebody wins big, they never win big. I've got Clemson to win. I've got UNC covering 6.5, though. I think we win by a field goal. Continuing on at 3:30, we have the Dogs at the Volunteers. UGA is -10 on the road at Neyland. I know what you're gonna do. I'm just gonna go right down. UGA win, UGA cover.
Tennessee's in a give up mode, and Joe Milton's not capable of beating us. We'll shut that run down. Carson Beck is going to have a field day. Georgia will win big.
This game was the one I had marked on Georgia's schedule all year. I just thought that this game was going to be more high stakes. I thought this game was going to be to go to the championship, SEC championship. And we saw last year, Tennessee's biggest game at home last year against Alabama. That crowd was absolutely electric and helped Tennessee pull that game out. So I think with Georgia coming to town, I think that crowd is going to be the same way at the start of the game, at least. Because I think after that, I think Georgia's going to quiet them. Give me Georgia to win. Uh, 10 points. Just give me Georgia to win and cover. Why not?
I do think this game could be close for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm rocking with Tennessee's crowd at least. I don't really like their team. I hate their coach, but their crowd is cool, I guess.
Their crowd's great, but
the crowd is awesome. But that's about it. I don't know. If this game was more high stakes. If this game was to go to the SEC East, I think I would have picked Tennessee to win this game. But I don't know. I just don't think they'll be able to keep it up if they get it started. Kind of like Ole Miss the other night. Then is this 3:30? It is 3:30. UCLA at Southern Cal. Southern Cal's last game of the year. So potentially the last time we're going to see Caleb Williams play football in college. Not potentially, but more than likely, very like 99% the last time we see Caleb Williams play football in college. Southern Cal is -7. I'm gonna take USC to win, but I'm gonna take UCLA to cover in a rivalry game like this.
well, I don't know if you saw the news, but UCLA is expected to fire Chip Kelly. I think after this game, if not this week, sometime. Just because of that, give me USC to win and cover.
All right. And then let's move on from 3:30. We got a decent game right here, NC State, Virginia Tech. Oh, no, not move on from 3:30. My bad. I thought this game was later. UNLV at Air Force, both 8-2, both 5-1 in the Mountain West. I think winner of this game locks up Mountain West Conference championship game if they haven't already. Air Force at home is -3. Air Force has been playing really bad, so I'm gonna take UNLV to upset Air Force here.
Yeah, we're on the same page there. Give me UNLV to win.
All right. Hold on, sorry, I was writing it down. All right. Kansas State, Kansas. All right, 7:00. Give me Kansas State at Kansas. Kansas State -7.5. Give me Kansas State to win. I think they're the better team, even if Jason Bean is playing or not. Is Jason Bean really not playing there, or do you know?
I'm not sure if he's playing. I just know he came out of the game last week.
That is right. I forgot about that. I don't know why I'm tripping. I act like I didn't know that. I bet on his passing yards. Give me Kansas State to win. If that's the case, give me Kansas State. No, I'm gonna keep Kansas covering because they're at home in a rivalry game.
Yeah, we're on the same wave there.
All
I
right.
think Kansas State wins. Kansas covers.
I'm gonna come back to it. 8:00, Texas at Iowa State. Texas is -7.5. I'm gonna take Texas to win. I'm gonna take Texas to cover.
I'm gonna take Iowa State in the upset.
Dang it, dude. See,
You guys have been picking. You and our friend Riley have been picking against Texas, and I hadn't done it yet.
but see,
But
that's the thing. That's the thing is I've been picking against Texas and they've been proving me wrong. And now watch this. Now you're gonna be right. Now, because I wanted to do it. I really did, but it's just like I can't, I guess.
I just think Texas has not been playing well. They're without Jonathan Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, and Iowa State's not a bad team.
They're not, and it's at Iowa State, which is also a place that is not easy to play in.
I'll tell you what's interesting about that game, too, is if Iowa State wins that game, Texas probably isn't going to the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, for sure. And then the big game this week, Huskies at the Beavers in Corvallis, Oregon State -2.5 right now.
Are we doing the same thing?
I haven't decided yet. I think I know what you're gonna do though. I'm really, really torn on this game.
I am too. I'm a big Washington believer this year. I've had Michael Penix as my Heisman since week 1, probably.
Me too.
I just don't think they're playing good enough football to go undefeated. And this is going to be a really, really tough game. Corvallis is a tough place to play at night. I think Oregon State wins the game. And I think they cover 2.5.
Mm. Mm. All right.
I don't necessarily want them to, but
I'm a big chaos person, so I would love Oregon State to win this game. However, backs against the wall late in the game, Michael Penix Jr., show him what you're about. Give me Washington to win and the upset, technically.
I'm not mad at it. Either way, I'm good with the result of that game.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool. Notoriety that I talked about earlier, 5 games for bowl eligibility this week. UCF at Texas Tech, Marshall at South Alabama, Boise State at Utah State, Nebraska at Wisconsin, and Syracuse at Georgia Tech. If anybody wanted to know. All right, and last 3 things per usual. Super Dogs. Last week, Jacob falls out of the tie for first and back into second place with his Boston College +1 against Virginia Tech, not even getting close to hitting. And I continued my streak since I had lost my streak. I had Arkansas State +11.5 versus South Alabama, which did cover. My super dog this week is actually a game that we picked. It's Memphis +8.5 versus SMU. Jacob, what do you got?
My super dog is also a game that we picked. I've got App State.
App +9 at JMU.
I just remember last year when we had College Game Day, how much of a distraction it was.
Yeah, for sure. And people do forget, I guess, kind of maybe because they weren't as good last year as they have been this year. But We had a big lead on JMU last year at home, and we blew it.
28-3.
Yep. It's a very significant number right there for Jacob. And then biggest spread of the week is over here in the 12 o'clock time frame. It is Louisiana Monroe at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is minus 37. I've got Ole Miss covering.
Why is there a spread?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's free money. Ole Miss is covering.
Yeah. Also in biggest spread of the week, actually, last week, Jacob with a miss on the Michigan State plus 31.5. And I got the right with Ohio State covering that. So I have taken the lead by half a point on biggest spread of the week. And then hot takes. Give it to me, baby. I was correct last week with 6 teams in the college football playoff rankings losing. Jacob was wrong with Drew Aller having the best game of his career. So another one. Well, I actually already had the lead by half a point, but I have grown my lead in that one. I am up 2.5 to 1 now. In hot takes. Jacob, do you have a hot take yet? Because I don't.
Yeah, sure. 2 or more unranked teams will beat ranked teams this week.
2 or more. And this is going off of college football playoff rankings?
College football playoff rankings.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we had to get some clarity here. I didn't want you to pull JMU's ranked in the AP poll and they got beat.
Yeah, no.
2 more unranked teams will beat ranked teams. Okay. All right. I'll go back to stats, even though I suck at them and they're so hard to hit. I'll beat ranked teams this week. And why not? No, I don't want to jinx my teammate or my own team, so I always do that. So I'm not gonna go with Cade Klubnik like I was going to. Give me. Is this absolutely absurd? Let me know if this is okay. Travis Hunter has a reception touchdown and a pick 6 touchdown this week.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, why not? I'll do it.
You can do that all he wants, but after this week, you owe me $20.
No, I don't. They're finishing the year 2-0, baby.
Yeah, they better win this one. They're not beating Utah.
All right, cool. Well, that's the show, I guess. Oh, got my pen. All right, well, like we said, big week this week. Going forward, I guess the plan is live reaction next week. So next Tuesday, because rankings are back at 7 next week. And that'll be the last week of the regular season. And then another live show would be in that upcoming Sunday, correct? Is when the rankings.
It would be, well, we got one.
No. I'm tripping. I'm definitely tripping. My bad. I'm sorry. Okay. Next Tuesday live show, hopefully live reaction next Tuesday night for the rankings at 7 o'clock. We usually go live. This is the first time you're seeing our channel. We usually go live around 6:45-ish to just try to start recapping the week before the rankings come on. And then we talk about the rankings a little bit while they're happening, live react to them, and then talk about the rankings a little bit, ask some questions, and then we move into previewing the next week and doing our pickers and stuff like we just did. The next week would be conference championship week. That's my bad. I was just completely disregarding conference championship week. So there'll be another live reaction that week, I think.
And then that Sunday, there will be another one.
And then that Sunday, we'll hopefully have our first ever selection show Sunday live reaction video. We had planned on doing it last year. We didn't get to do it. But hopefully we can get it in this year. And that is our plan right now. Those are our next 3. And we'll upload right after the lives are done. And then after that, not sure how, because we didn't record last year during bowl season at all, I don't think. So we'll see from there, that's out in the future. We'll figure that out close to that time. But that is our plan. So next Tuesday, we're gonna upload this video tomorrow. So today is Wednesday. We'll upload it tomorrow on Thursday. And then live reaction next Tuesday, which is November the 21st, around 6:45 p.m. is when we'll go live. Rankings at 7. Same with that next Tuesday. I'm pretty sure they're at 7 again. So that would be Tuesday, November the 28th, I guess. And then also that Sunday. So that Sunday would be Sunday, December the 3rd, which is the day after all the conference championship games. So that's the plan. And we appreciate y'all's support, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace out.